The inheritance wasn't about the money. Not really. It was about my grandfather's legacy as small, handcrafted watch business he built from nothing. My father and his brother, Uncle Robert, were meant to inherit it together. That was the plan, but on the day the will was read, everything changed. My father, a quiet, meticulous man who had apprenticed under my grandfather since he was a boy, was left with a token sum. The entire business, the workshop, the designs, everything went to Robert. My father just sat there, his face pale, staring at his hands. He didn't say a word. Robert, on the other hand, couldn't stop talking. He claimed it was my grandfather's dying wish, that he saw a bigger vision for the company. But we all knew Robert. He was a salesman, not a craftsman. He saw dollar signs, not the soul of the work. That day, my father walked out of the lawyer's office and never spoke to his brother again. The silence that followed was louder than any argument. It was the start of a Cold War that would divide our family for the next 10 years. For a decade, it was like we lived into separate worlds. The cousins I grew up with became strangers. Holidays were a logistical nightmare of separate celebrations. My father tried to start his own small repair shop, but his spirit was broken. He'd spend hours at his workbench, not creating, just staring at the tools, the ghost of his father's workshop haunting him. Meanwhile, Robert rebranded the business. He outsourced production, used cheaper materials, and slapped the family name on mass-produced watches. The company grew. But the artistry died. I'd see ads for Grayson watches and feel a pit in my stomach. It wasn't our family's legacy anymore. It was Robert's brand. He tried to reach out once, sending a lavish Christmas gift. My father sent it back unopened. The feud wasn't just a disagreement, it was a wound that refused to heal, a constant, unspoken grief that hung over our home. My grandmother, caught in the middle, would call me, crying, begging me to try and fix things. But how could I fix a betrayal that deep? The turning point came in the most unexpected way. My grandmother passed away. In her will, she left me a small, locked wooden box and a single key. She wrote, "Your grandfather wanted you to have this when the time was right. You have your father's hands and your mother's heart. You'll know what to do." Inside the box was an old leather-bound journal. It was my grandfather's. Page after page was filled with his designs, his notes, his philosophy. But the last entry, dated the day before he died, revealed the truth. He wrote, "Robert has the ambition, but he lacks the soul. David has the soul, but he lacks the fight. I fear for my legacy. So I will split it. Robert gets the business, the shell. But the heart of it I leave in this book for the one who will understand its true worth." It wasn't a betrayal. It was a test. My grandfather hadn't disinherited my father. He had entrusted the true legacy to the future, to someone who could reunite the business with its soul. I called a family meeting, the first in 10 years. Robert and his family were on one side of the room, we were on the other. The tension was thick enough to cut with a knife. I didn't say a word. I just opened the journal and placed it on the table between them. My father was the first to pick it up. As he turned the pages, his hands trembling, I saw a flicker of the old light return to his eyes. He looked at Robert, not with anger, but with a profound sadness. Robert, surprisingly, looked ashamed. He had built an empire, but he knew it was hollow. The feud didn't end with a dramatic apology or a hug. It ended quietly. My father started visiting Robert's company, not as an employee, but as a consultant, a guardian of the craft. He began teaching the young watchmakers, using our grandfather's journal as their textbook. The decade of silence had cost us so much, but in the end, my grandfather's wisdom echoed through time. He knew that a legacy isn't something you inherit. It's something you have to be worthy of, and sometimes it takes a generation to heal the wounds of the past. Thanks for watching. If this story moved you, please like and subscribe for more.